third law, and the third law is temperance. It's an old-fashioned word. It means not taking anything into the body that will harm it, and taking in moderation the good things. So all good things should be done in moderation. Even that beautiful breakfast that we served to you this morning, if that's overdone, that can turn to poison.
This is Barbara O'Neill, a woman who's helped thousands rediscover their health with simple yet powerful advice. She's not a celebrity doctor or someone with $1 million marketing team. She's the kind of person who believes that the best solutions come from nature and balance, two things most of us are missing today. In this video, we're diving into one of her most transformative principles, temperance. It holds the secret to living a healthier, more energized life. At first, let's discover what things should be done at moderation.
And you probably discovered, guests, that you couldn't eat as much. Did you find that? Because you've had 2 days on juices, and it is far better that you undereat a little rather than overeat. All good things should be done in moderation. All work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy. We even had a guest that had set up his whole room like an office. He said, I gotta work, I got this. I said, your children will grow up not even knowing who you are. And I can testify, they grow up very quickly. So spend time with them. Time's so important. You've got to have your priority list in your day. In fact, if you haven't got time to spend with your children, you've got to do an assessment of your time. What are you doing with your time? And what's important in your life? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, isn't that true? But all work and no play does that. But on the other side, all play and no work makes Jack a poor boy. And we've got so many children growing up today, all they do is play. That's all they do. And when my friend started an orphanage in Africa, she said the children just wanted to work. She'd tell them to go and play, but they didn't want to play. They wanted to work. Work was their play. And some people say, oh, the poor children. Well, I say, oh, the poor Westerners that don't even know how to work. You know why these children loved work? Because when you work, you experience the joy of accomplishment. And in the break from school, there'd be a big tub of potatoes, and they'd run out of school scrubbing the potatoes ready for lunch, and they would be laughing, and the bell would go, oh, just one more potato. And then they'd run back into school laughing. They had the joy of accomplishment. So surely this is a balance.
Now let's see which things you should avoid.
No, there should be a balance of all this, but there are some things that should never be taken into the body if you're looking for optimum performance. And I consider the pure crystallized acid one of the most dangerous substances ever given to human beings. So when someone says to me about a herb, would that hurt a children? I say not near as much as that sugar candy that you're giving them. I'm just surprised when people say, oh, but is this herb safe for the baby? I said, far safer than the vaccines that have been given, far safer than some of the things that are giving. We've actually forgotten what's safe. And if a baby died from a herb, that would make headlines. Am I right? Absolutely. No, the sugar is incredibly dangerous. Dr. Yatkin, in his book, he claimed it should be banned. It is so dangerous. It gets the blood sugar level up very high, very fast. And because of that, a lot of insulin is released to get the blood sugar level down again. But now it goes too low. But what does the person do down there? Have more sugar to get it up again. And what the pancreas can't handle is this up, down, and so pancreases start to wear out. There's a big contributing factor to diabetes. 2 organs are dramatically affected by sugar. One is the pancreas and the other is the brain, because the brain can only hold a 2-minute supply of fuel. So when it drops down here, it only takes 2 minutes and the brain's not working well. People used to say to me, how can you stand having your children around you all day long? Because I homeschooled. I said, it's real easy when you don't give them sugar. You haven't got these highs, lows, high lows. And I tell you what, it's a much happier mother, which creates a much happier home when the mother's not on the highs, lows, highs, lows. But something else has come in that's a huge contributing factor to diabetes, and that's the hybridized wheat. The wheat was hybridized in the 50s. The reason it was hybridized was to produce a plant with a high yield of grain. Have you noticed that the wheat only grows that high? When I was a child, it used to grow this high. If it still grew that high, the stalk would break before you could harvest that grain. Because through the hybridization of the grain, it produced a plant that can yield sometimes 6 times the grain that it originally did. So it went worldwide in the 70s. Dr. Norman Bourlag got a Nobel Prize 1976 for his hybridized grain, and the farmers love it. They're getting 6 to 10 times more grain per acre. They've got to pay their bills. So by the 1990s, every bread, every cake, every donut, every pretzel, every pasta, every cereal is all a hybridized grain. And notice those figures. 1970s went worldwide. 1990s, it's in full production. Isn't that when we saw the explosion in diabetes? And the reason is that this was rushed through with no safety studies. Sounds like something else, doesn't it? I'm not interested in something that has not had the safety studies. Another on the no list is alcohol. There's no safe dose of alcohol. This is a statement from the Australian Health Department about 10 years ago. And the reason why there's no safe dose of alcohol is because it's a neurotoxin. A neurotoxin means brain poison. Once that brain cell's gone, it's gone, doesn't regrow. Alcohol is a neurotoxin, as is mercury. And there's no safe dose of mercury, as there is no safe dose of alcohol. How do we get exposed to mercury? We can get exposed to mercury in the flu vaccine. Fish, there's hardly a fish today that's mercury free. One of the reasons is because of the industry that's just pumping into many waterways. Also, meat. Now I get a little bit of criticism about meat. One lady in Ireland, she said, but we grow our own, we live on a mountaintop. And I said, well, that meat would certainly be healthier than the meat that's in the supermarket today. Roadkill should never be given to cows, and I'm sure we're all aware of the dangers of the mad cow disease, etc., etc. 80% of the antibiotics that are made are given to animals. So just if you do like meat and want to eat it, it must be organic and really a rare treat. Adding to our list is electromagnetic field excess. We are electrical people, and the electricity that's coming out of the devices is not the same as our electromagnetic field. Be careful on your exposure. I'm very thankful for WhatsApp and emails that allows me to travel the world and still have day-to-day contact with my family, but I always charge my devices out of my bedroom while I'm sleeping. I also answer the emails as much as is possible in the daylight, because that night, and we'll see that in our next lecture when we look at sleep, it's a big interference with the way our brain works, especially the light and dark signals.
Balance is the key to everything. Barbara O'Neill's wisdom reminds us that health isn't about quick fixes or extremes. It's about temperance. Small, mindful choices every day can create a life of energy, vitality, and peace. So take a moment to reflect. Where can you find balance in your life? Because when you embrace temperance, you're not just living, you're thriving. And if you enjoyed this video, check out another one. I'm 93, but I look 60. Carmen Della Refis shares her secrets to health, vitality, and longevity.